This year, the Buffalo and Elk Division of the Oglala Sioux Parks and Recreation Authority on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation drove our Tonka team out to the land to document buffalo and their environment. Tanka Bar's goal is to buy 100% Native American grass-fed buffalo following the wild managed model.
They all go in different little bunches, little groups. And then some, if you ever see the cattle, whenever it gets cold like this, whatever, they turn their backs right away. But the buffaloes, they'll face the weather. They'll face into the cold or the snow or whatever's coming. They'll stand and look at it and stuff.
The buffalo industry is a rapidly growing business as more people are seeking a healthier lifestyle. We spoke with Dr. Trudy Ecoffey, wildlife biologist at Oglala Sioux Parks and Recreation Authority, about the industry.
From a biological standpoint, they evolved with the land. They graze differently than cattle. They select differently than cattle. They're more compatible with other wildlife, such as prairie dogs and birds and even insects. So they're ecologically better for the land. Their hoof action is different. How they water at the stream banks is different. They're a keystone species that a lot of other animals indirectly or directly kind of feed off of them or live with them. There are certain plants that can be found in buffalo pastures that you will not find in cattle pastures. The bird species tend to be a bit different. They're more adapted to large. The larger the pasture you have, or the larger the area you have for bison, the more they can be like bison and be more compatible with the land.
Oglala Sioux Parks and Recreation Authority has roughly 32,000 plus acres total in 4 main buffalo pastures. They are in the process of seeing how much of that is actually fenced for the buffalo.
One, if you're selling meat, trying to get them to a facility, an inspected facility so you can sell. That's one of our problems, because you need to have that state or USDA inspected sticker on there for resale. And then for live animals, the prices are really good right now, and just finding a consistent market where people can consistently get good prices. It's been, in the last few years, it's been better than it has in the past. There's still a move that the animals need to be grain-fed, and I think we're getting away from that now. I think people are accepting the grass-fed animals, and they realize that they're probably healthier for them and it's healthier for the animals, but getting a consistent product to the grocery stores, to the facilities is harder, because you don't, put these animals, you're not putting them into a feedlot. So, getting consistent product is tough, unlike the cattle business where, they all pretty much go to a feedlot.
With 100% grass-fed buffalo being a goal, ranchers face the challenge of finding available pasture and arranged land to finish their buffalo on grass.
You still have to have an inspector on the ground for a field kill, and that inspector has to follow that animal all the way to the packing plant, even after it's killed, and that adds to the cost tremendously, because these inspectors, I don't know, it's $50-$60 an hour, and so that's still a problem, that the USDA is not allowing for some kind of different kind of field inspection. Wild Idea Buffalo Company, they have the mobile packing unit, and they have an inspector that goes with it, but it still adds, I want to say $75 to $100 extra on top of each buffalo, because even though they may take 8 to 10 animals down a day, and average out that inspector's time. So it's really difficult, unless you bring them in live, or which is very stressful on the animals. So those policies need to be looked at. I think the other one is looking at tribal inspection, some type of tribal inspection that may be just as good as USDA inspection or above. And I know some people in the past have tried to jump over that hurdle and haven't been successful. Going back to Wild Idea, when they were looking at this system at Oregon and Washington, they thought this could work for buffalo. And now I know that Taos Pueblo has a facility like this where they can actually take the facility right to the buffalo, so you don't have to transport the buffalo. I think there's one down in Nebraska now. And it's not just for buffalo. I mean, I think there was use of also for other animals, so you didn't have to take them, put them under the stress of taking them live into the packing plant.
We asked Dr. Ecoffey what tribes could do to influence the buffalo market and policies. She said one action tribes could take is to make a stand for natural, wild, and conservation animals.
I know Intertribal Buffalo Council they don't tell tribes what to do, but I know there's a real strong presence from a lot of the tribes in the Great Plains that can influence to say we want, better field kill policies through USDA. I think they want to make sure that these animals aren't turned into glorified domestic cattle of some sort. I think the tribes can influence protection of the genetics, which is also a piece that National Park Service and some of the non-government, non-profit agencies are looking to keep this genetically intact animal. And there is some basis that a genetically pure buffalo, meaning that it doesn't have bovine genes in it, it's a healthier animal. I think they're still working on proving that, but that it's not mixed up with bovine genes. And so therefore it's a healthier product, healthier animal, healthier for the environment.
As for the future of the buffalo industry, Dr. Ecoffey believes it will continue to increase as people get used to eating buffalo meat or seeing it as a healthy addition to their diets. With this, she said, will come an increase of animals not only in production herds, but conservation herds as well.
I work with World Wildlife Fund. They're looking at big conservation herd ideas, places where they can have large herds, 1,000 head or more. And one of the reasons because of the ecological piece of it. And so I think the tribes will continue to try to increase their number of animals too, not just here but everywhere because of the cultural, aspect of them. And so I guess that's kind of my take on, I think, what the future lies.
With the Tonka Fund, we are raising funds so that Native Americans can get into buffalo producing. Buffalo sales have tripled in the past several years. Buffalo producing is good for the environment, good for the economy, and we would like Native Americans to be able to participate in this industry.